Hello everyone and welcome to part 2 of MC Grainz. So what am I going to do in this video? Well, I'm going to take the patch that I made in part 1 and clean it up a little bit, swap out some things and basically turn it into a patch that will be ready to put into a Max for Live device so that we can use it inside Ableton Live. So this might not be as an interesting video as the first one if you're into this sort of stuff. However, there are some things in it that I think are interesting to talk about if you are interested in building Max for Live devices or just generally interested in fooling around with MaxMSP. So there won't be a huge amount of sound. It'll mostly just be me working. You're basically just going to watch me work and talk about it. So basically, in order to get it into Max for Live, we're going to need to make some decisions over what controls, what parameters, what values that we want to have control over, and swap them out for Max for Live UI objects. I've kind of done some of that already. So I used the live.drop, which means that when you use live.drop in a Max for Live device, the file that you drop in there gets remembered by the device when you save the set. So it's good to use something like that. I've also used live menus here. You can see I've used them everywhere. These are, live user interface objects. And really, I kind of need to do that for all the other things that I want to have control over. And even though that this patch, in my opinion, is fairly straightforward, there are going to be a lot of parameters and it is going to take a little bit of work. So we're just going to kind of make our way through it, I guess. Take out some things that we don't need, anything in there that might maybe slow the processing down a little bit. For example, this bang, I think I'm probably not going to need that bang. In fact, I might as well delete it now. We're going to need to take out or refine a little bit, and then we're going to have to work out how to get the MC signals from MC to the outside world, to regular stereo. So let's have a look at what we've got here. Well, right here we've got this, we've got this rose thing. So we could probably swap out this rose for a live number box. And we're probably going to want to set some values here. Sorry that my inspector is very small. I'm on a very large screen. So I'm going to set the range enum from 1 to, I'll go with 120, 128 maybe. I'll go with 128. It'll be MIDI friendly, but we don't want it to be a float. We want it to be an integer. That's fine. So as we, okay, as I adjust that, we get 1 to 128. So yeah, we just get rid of this. This is going to be a really boring video. I'm so sorry, but a useful one. I hope. Oh my God, there's so much stuff here I need to address. Drink some beer. I'm really enjoying this multi-slider visualization of the MC stuff. I've got to give another shout out to Tom Hall for that idea. What a great idea. I've just ruined my patch by clicking and dragging there. Right, okay, so what else do we have here? Okay, we've got all these things. So, okay, some of these MC objects are going to be working between values of numbers that we need to consider. So for things like the MC.sig objects, like this one here, in fact, there's only 2 of them. Yeah. Because we're using those to address numbers from 0 to 1, we kind of obviously want to scale the user interface objects to go from 0 to 1, because anything above that or below that is just useless. So how about that I create a live dial? That's not a live dial. A live dial. And I'll say for this live dial, I want it to go from 0 to 1. And I want the unit style to be a float. And then maybe I can kind of give it, I'll link the scripting name here. I'm really sorry that if you can't see this, but it's all in the inspector. The long name, I guess that I'll just call it the sig. The sig. Yeah. Or no, value. Let's go with value. Value. Okay, so that's fine. So I can use this again other places where I need it. It's just a dial that goes from 0 to 1, which is setting the value of something. So right now I can trash those and I can put that in there, and then I can take a copy and trash that and put that in there. That's great. Okay, so anywhere else that I need to do that? Okay, so I actually need to do it for all of these MC.multipliers here, because they're basically working as, you could think of them as working as VCAs for each of these signals. So I'll take a copy of that, but I'll change the name, and maybe I'll call it like amount, AMT, you know, save on space, abbreviate it. Great. So now I've got one of those that I can use for each of these numbers here. We'll get rid of that one, put that one in there. And yeah, that's all of it. So I've got one for each of my 4 signals. Okay. Lovely. Where else would I maybe need something like that? Not anywhere really. Okay, so right here, I've got a number box here that I'm currently using as a, you know, a visual cue that the data's working, but I don't need it. So I can hold shift, pull that out and delete that, and that chord is still connected. That's fine. Okay, so what about some of these other things? Well, we've got some oscillators here. Where are our oscillators? They're over here, right? So we've got our phaser, our random, and our signal. So obviously they are oscillators, which means that they have numberings. They need numbers that are in frequencies, in hertz. So if this doesn't crash, I'll just save it just in case. Part 2, because sometimes when you do a live dial and then you go to prototype and choose frequency, it crashes. Okay, right, it's not crashed this time. So we can have a dial for the frequency of our phaser. So I'll trash that, plug that in there, take a copy of that. What's that? Our random? Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we don't really, I mean, going up to 10,000 hertz scrolling around a sample is probably a bit excessive, but I'll put it in there for now, just for demonstration purposes. Okay, and then we need okay, so we've got one for our signal here. Okay, so now we kind of need to make a decision over what means. What does what mean? So in the previous video, I demonstrated that we're using the pack object here to tell the MC objects to do the whatever type of behavior is selected from the let's call it behavior. Oh, I don't know, that's so long-winded. I don't know, my normal approach is just to give it something cryptic and stupid. So gosh, I don't know, I need to have a little think. I said this might be a bit of a boring video, so don't call me out. Oh, your video is really boring, it's just you talking. That's like internet voice. That's how people on the internet talk. What should we call it? Let's call it I really don't know. I'll have a vape. Maybe that'll help. Oh, I'll just call it behavior. Behave. Behave? Oh, come on. Behave with two V's. Behave. That's so dumb. Okay, behave. Oh, behave. Right, okay, so let's decide how we want our behave parameter to behave. So for some of these things, I mean, these are all, this one down here is just that's going from 0 to 1. So that might be a good place to start. Let's take that value. We know that this value is going from 0 to 1. So let's take a duplicate of that value and let's rename it as behave, and then we'll swap that out for, oh, I've made a copy. I didn't need to do that. Let's swap that out for our whatever what was. Okay. But for the other ones, they're working in frequency. We don't, as I said, we don't really want to, we probably don't need to be going up to 20,000 or 10,000 hertz for some of these parameters, because that's just stupid fast. I'm going to leave them in there anyway. But let's say we're going to need to set like some boundaries, like you know, some limits in terms of how far these numbers go, how much that they affect the behavior of the number coming in. So maybe we might want to go for something like, I mean, 10 hertz either way is quite a lot. Maybe let's go with 50. So let's create a live dial and we'll call it behave. We might run into problems with this later, but let's do it anyway. And we'll say that we want it to go from 0 to 50. Even 50 seems like quite a lot. Okay, I'm going to say 25, and the unit style is float. So that is okay. That's looking pretty good to me. So I'm going to make duplicates of these, and I'm going to swap them out for these number boxes here, and they can go in there. Swap that out. Okay. All right. Cool. So that's nearly everything. Oh, I need something for this. Okay, so we'll do a live dial here, and we're going to call this one transpose. Sorry again that it's so small. I mean, we kind of, let's say -8 float to 8, and let's enable the triangle so that, and let's give it an initial value of 0. So that means that we can go up 8 times or down 8 times. That's not a float though, so we need to, the unit style needs to be a float so that we can be quite a bit more precise. Okay, we can swap that out for that. Oh, and we need another behave here. So okay, yeah, I'll just take a copy of that one. Get rid of that. Put that in there. It's all getting a little bit fiddly now. Okay, but we're getting close though. We're getting close. Oh, we need one for this too. What's this doing? That's the SIG. Yes, so for this one, which is doing the panorama, I'll take the one that I'm using for the static signal here. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is going to... When we get into live.banks, which we may do later on, this might be a bit of a problem. Okay, and also we need something to reset this phaser. So maybe what we could do, if this will work, is we'll create a float to bang a 0 to reset the phaser, and then we could create a live text, and we'll give, it'll just be a button, and we'll tell the text to just say reset phaser. Did it do it? Oh, okay, maybe I need to do it with, what was it, thingy-jigs, apostrophes, whatever they're called, speech marks. Reset phaser. There we go. Okay. So. All right. So that's nearly everything, I think. Nothing else. All right. So now what we need to do is we need to come up with a way to, because this is multi-channel, there are 8 channels going on. The mc.mixdown has mixed them down to 2, but we still need to get them into 2 separate channels so that we can put them into the plug out in a Max for Live device. And I believe that we can use mc.unpack, and then we say 2, ping that in there, delete this, and then we've got channel 1 out there and channel 2 out there. Okay. I think that's kind of everything we need. Now it's just a case of deciding, well, let's save it. Now it's just a case of deciding, I mean, we could maybe use like, is there an mc.send? Yes, there is. Of course there is. Okay. I probably won't use those for now. Sometimes seeing the cables gives me a little bit of peace of mind. So, but it probably might make some sense to tidy it up a little bit. Let's just see what happens if we do select all. Select all. And then Command Shift Y to route the patch cords. Maybe it might just intelligently make the whole thing really organized. All right, that's all right. That'll do. Now we need to decide what objects we want to be in the Max for Live device. So I'm going to select them. These guys, I'm holding Shift to select multiple things. These, the names of the signal sources. This, oh, I need to do a thing there as well. That. Oh, and that. Oh, and this and this. Okay. All right. That looks like everything to me. And then we'll do Command Shift P. Oh, that was O. Command Shift O. Command Shift P. It's all kicking off in my video. Yeah, so I need an amount here as well. Let's get rid of that. Put that in there. All right. Let's save that. That's looking okay to me. Right, I'm just going to pause the video and then we'll open up Ableton and get it into Max for Live. See you shortly. Okay, I'm back. So now we're going to get this into Ableton Live, into Max for Live. So let's go into Ableton. Let's go to Max for Live. I think probably this is going to be a Max instrument, although in its current state, you won't really be able to interact with it with MIDI. It's kind of more just like a sort of noise box, really. I probably could have added some implementation to make it respond to MIDI, perhaps with the transposition. I don't have the capacity to do that right now, so we'll just drop it into a Max instrument. So let's open the Max instrument, and really all we need to do is just select all of this, go copy, then go to, where is it? Go to this guy and we'll just paste it here. Okay, now we're in Max for Live, and what I might do is, oh, this is confusing. I'll go to this and turn off the DSP. Let's save it, close it down, and we're going to work in this one now. So all of our, all of our live interface objects that we want have already been added to the presentation. We don't need this anymore. Let's trash it. And in fact, the mc.unpack2, which I'm hoping has split that into the stereo channels, I guess we'll find out, that can go into our plug out. So we'll just plonk that in there. And then really, if I've done this right, let's just move all this over here. Really, it's just a case of UI design now, which is something I have a casual interest in. I wouldn't say I was an expert. I mean, I have made Max for Live devices that are commercially available, and I worked very hard on the user interface. Whether or not I'm an expert on it or I make nice user interfaces, I've no idea. I've just gone with what I thought made sense in my head. Perhaps for other people, that might not be, that might not be the case. Some people might open up my Max for Live devices and go, what a god awful looking thing. I don't understand how it works. And that's fine. But you don't have to worry about that, because what you're going to be making this for you. This is about making something that you could use, that's kind of idiosyncratic to how your brain works, about how you like to interact with software. You might not even want to just use knobs and menus and buttons or whatever. You could come up with some interesting, you know, gestural interface or something. I don't know. Yeah, you know, it's possible that maybe I've just been a little bit conservative using all of these knobs and stuff. And actually, when we put them all into the presentation, it might look horrible, be cluttered, be overwhelming. But let's just do it anyway. So let's go into presentation mode and see what we have. We have this. Okay, let's right click the patch and go inspector window, go to basic and say, oh, where is it? Oh no, I want it for, there we go. Open in presentation. So that means that we should have a line up here. Okay, so I guess like bit by bit, we'll just decide what we want. I think it's quite nice to kind of, let's bring this to the front. I think it's quite, that doesn't, why hasn't that been brought to the front? Send to back. Okay, I think it's quite nice to kind of have this drop something here over the top of the waveform. If we get this all lined up, problem is the text is kind of nearly the same color as the waveform. So let's go into the inspector and let's say that we want the text color to be something like green. Oh, why? I just said green, yo. Okay, green. It's, no, that's not quite right. What about red? Okay, red, that's kind of quite striking and clear. All right, okay. So we could maybe, let's just put this there for now. Okay, we're going to need to keep on top of our signals, our signal parts of the patch. Okay, let's think about this. So this is the phaser. And this is the random. This is the cycle. What's this? This is the signal. Okay, I'm already starting to think about what's this. That's the speed. Transposition. That's the pan. Okay. And then this is the little pan UI thing, visualizer thing. Those are the rows. Okay, so let's just move all of this up here. Okay, what could we do with this? Crikey. So, well, first let's have a little guzzle of beer. If you've made it all this way to part 2, you are a trooper, and I appreciate your time hanging out with me whilst I design user interfaces for Max for Live devices. Okay. So these are all grouped together. We can kind of make this a little bit bigger, maybe. Maybe we could go for like a kind of thing where the knobs are all along the top and the waveform is on the bottom. Something like that. Or we could go, oh, bollocks. We could go around the waveform. Perhaps decorate the knobs around the waveform. You know, I kind of want to make it look a little bit interesting. You know, a little bit like, whoa, that looks fun. So, okay, I think maybe what we need to do is give this a comment, and we'll call it, oh, I don't know, rate/pitch, perhaps. I don't actually want them to be white. Black, sorry. I want them to be white. So I'll select all of the texts, the comments things, and we'll go to the text color. And we'll say white. Yes, much better. Okay. So why don't we put the rows? Are we snapped to the grid? Okay, I want the grid on, please. Grid and snap to grid. So why don't we put the rows? That looks good. No, up a little bit. Oh, okay, go on, just do it. Yeah. Why don't we put the rows maybe something like here? And why don't we maybe scale this up quite large? I want it to look good. I want it to look interesting. I want the sliders to like whiz around the waveform. That drop something here. Text is pretty bad, so let's make it bigger. Let's try, I don't know, 25. Yeah. Can you read that? I can't. I can just about really drop something here. Okay, that's fine. So I'm trying to sort of think in terms of the signal path with regards to the way in which I arrange the user interface objects to make it intuitive to an end user if there is one. So all of these things here are various signals to change the offset. This is the panorama. It might make sense to maybe put the panorama here because that's kind of at the end of the chain, at the end of the signal. The pitch, the rate and the pitch is at the start. So why don't we like make a decision to say that these guys can go at the start here. Yeah. Maybe what I could do is bring this down a little bit, bring this down a little bit, and somehow get these guys in something like this. Oh no, that's ugly. That's kind of ugly. Let's swap that round. Try this. What happened to the line? Oh, that's still ugly. Okay, so why don't we move? Let's put the transpose there. Okay, there's going to be a big gap there, but that'll do. Okay, so let's make a line. Oh, no, not that. A line. A live dot line. Yeah, straight line. And so this is just, I'm just going to use this as a little visual divider on the UI. So I'll go for like something just like awful, like blue, just something like really, just something like really not. I'm not thinking about color scheme, right? Let's lock it. Okay, that's fine. So let's think about this. That reset phaser doesn't need to be that big. Let's maybe go with something like this. That's a tiny bit small. Okay. Put that in the middle. Let's put that above there. Okay, I'm starting to see it now. I'm starting to see it. These are all a little bit close together. That is... Oh, that's not quite good enough. Okay. Okay, that looks kind of nice. All right, snap to that. All right, let's see if that will fit in there. Oh, it just about fits in there. Okay, no, not quite. Okay, we're gonna have to make this a little bit smaller so that we can make room for all this stuff. That's a little bit better. Let's pull that down a little bit. Okay, I kind of like that. All right. Yeah, all right, let's do the same thing for the random, although the random's got slightly different controls. Let's see how we get on. All right, yeah, that kind of works. Yeah, all right, okay. And then let's try the same for the cycle. Let's put the name above the cycle. Ping these guys out a bit. All right. Put that next to it. I don't think I really need to set a divider here because they're kind of doing similar operations. So to have them sort of within the same panel makes a little bit of sense to me. Okay, signal. Let's put that there. All right, this is looking okay now. Or is it? I don't know. Okay, so now that we've lined up all those, let's get the blue line. Put a blue line there. Let's ping it up a little bit. Okay. Now that all of those are lined up, maybe we don't need that to be so wide. So let's put that to there. Okay. And then we'll do a final thing for our pan, but I'm going to call it panorama. Okay. this is looking okay. Let's get this all cozy, cushy, wushy. Put that there. Okay, so for this, maybe we can make this quite small. Beautiful. Okay, it's looking all right now. So maybe finally, let's ping in a live gain. Live gain here. And we're just going to call it, let's go link to scripting name, and we'll just call it output so that we can have some output over the patch into the outside world. I can't spell output twice. Spell it once, not twice. Okay. So we can't just shift click. Okay, well we can for that one, but let's get rid of this. Put it there. Oh, come on, do it. All right. Let's add that to presentation. So I'm holding Command Shift P. Beautiful. And then we'll just ping this up here. Come on now. All right. We've got all this. Let's put another blue line here. The blue, you know, I'm not thinking about color scheme. What I'm doing is I'm thinking about visually dividing the panel into bits so that it's clear that there's some separation between certain functions. That will do. We can actually make this a little bit taller, which is nice. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to arrange. No, view. Yeah, view and set device width, which will create a little line somewhere in the distance. Let's just pull that back to there. Okay, let's go back in. Okay, I mean, it's not the nicest looking thing in the world, but it's not that hideous either. Yeah, okay, let's save it. Save as. I'll just save it on my desktop. I'll just call it as MC Grainz M4L. Okay. Okay, let's close it. Let's close Max. Let's look at it. There it is. Oh my God, already I've made some mistakes. Look at that cycle there. It's, it's a little bit too high. But the test really is, does it work? So let's go into my samples folder, pull in some god-awful vocal. Oh, we won't hear it because I need to just set my preferences in Ableton quickly. Sorry about this, everyone. Okay. Let's just pull some random crap in. Oh, I can't hear it. Again? Oh. Interesting. That doesn't sound like singing to me, I'm afraid. Yeah! Yeah! Oh, I get it. These are like improv skits. What about this one? Hit it! All right, let's drop that in there. Hit it! Okay, let's see if it works. I can't remember how it works because it was like an hour ago that I was using this. Hit it! Oh, okay. Hit it! Hit it! Oh my gosh. Hit it! Hit it! Okay, I think it's working. Yeah, it's working. Brilliant. Let's try adding a little bit of random. Tiny little bit. Yeah, it's working. Ah. Celebration beer break. Yeah, listen to that. The panorama's working. The static signal's working. Let's try less rows. So you could think of the rows as grains, I suppose, but like not really. I mean, it's sort of... I know how granular synthesis works, and I'm a huge fan of it. My favorite granular synth was Granulab on like Windows XP. I think I first discovered it in about 2002. A friend of mine introduced me to it, and I totally get how it works and what you can do with it. But it's never something I've tried to build. This is kind of the closest, I guess, that I've gotten to building like a granular synth. But it's not really. I guess it's more like a kind of multi-channel wavetable oscillator. I guess that's kind of what it is. That is pretty good. I'm quite happy with that. Yeah, the multi-sliders are working. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. So there you go. We made a multi-channel, what did I say? Multi-channel textural wavetable oscillator thing in MaxMSP using MC, and now we've ported it into Max for Live, and it's pretty much working. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. I know it was a pretty long session, but I hope you got something out of it. You know, a little bit of MC, a little bit of DSP, a little bit of interface design. I'm going to go and put this on my Patreon now. So if you want to download this and explore it, pick up some things from it, or just support me so that I can make more videos like this, I'd be very grateful. Check out my Patreon. I shall post a link in the description. Okay. Sweet. Okay. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye.